Chapter 1. The Forbidden Light, the Ark of the Covenant in Aksum. The dusty, twilight air in the town of Aksum was thick with incense and memory. The streets hummed with ancient footsteps, those of priests, emperors, wanderers who came searching for the impossible. Among the pilgrims and scholars stood Salam Araya, a historian with roots in Tigray and degrees from Cambridge. She had returned to Ethiopia not for academic pursuit, but to fulfill a promise whispered to her in childhood. When the land calls your name in dreams, you are chosen to listen to its silence. Her grandmother had told her that before she died. She had also told her that the Ark of the Covenant, the very object that had carried the 10 Commandments and once stood at the heart of Jerusalem's temple, now lay hidden in Aksum, guarded by a single man unseen by all others. Salam's first stop was the Church of St. Mary of Zion. Its stone facade rose like a silent sentinel, unimposing but radiating a deep spiritual pull. Outside the smaller chapel beside it, the chapel of the tablet, stood an elderly monk, draped in white cotton and crowned with solitude. His name was Abba, the guardian of the ark. She approached slowly. Abba, forgive me for disturbing your silence, but I must ask what many fear too. Do you truly keep the ark here? The monk did not turn to face her. His eyes were closed as he whispered a prayer. Then, in a gravelly voice softened by age, he replied, "Greater than the ark is not seen. It is felt. It is not protected by man, but by covenant." Salam tried to explain. "I don't want to see it. I want to understand. Why Aksum? Why here? Ancient claim from Jerusalem to Ethiopia." Abba, moved by her sincerity, began to speak not as a guardian, but as a storyteller. He told her of the Kebron Nagast the Glory of Kings, a 14th century manuscript that chronicled the journey of Menelik, the son of King Solomon of Israel, and Makeda, the queen of Sheba. According to the text, Menelik visited his father Solomon in Jerusalem and was secretly given the ark by divine will. Angels carried the true ark to Ethiopia, while a replica was left in the temple. Menelik returned to Aksum, and with the ark founded a dynasty believed to have lasted until Emperor Haile Selassie. Salam listened with her notebook open, but she wrote nothing. Something about the moment made her afraid to reduce it to mere words. "Greater than do you believe this?" she asked. "What is belief?" The monk replied, "If a thing shapes the soul of a nation, builds its temples, inspires kings, and guards the faith of a people for centuries, is it not real even if unseen?" Number # clues, paradoxes, and hidden paths. Salam had studied comparative mythology. She had read about the arks, supposed destruction by the Babylonians, the theory that it was hidden in a cave on Mount Nebo, and even rumors it was buried beneath the Vatican, but none of those places held the same unbroken tradition of guardianship like Aksum. She learned that the ark is never removed, not even during religious festivals. The guardian is chosen for life, and once chosen, never leaves the chapel grounds, no one else may enter, not even the Ethiopian patriarch. "Is it not dangerous to keep such a thing so hidden?" she asked. "The danger is in the asking," he said. "If the ark is a source of power, men will kill for it. If it is merely legend, they will forget it. But if it is mystery, will live forever." Salam stayed the night in a nearby monastery. She dreamed of stone tablets floating above fire. In her dream, she saw an *** Ethiopian emperor placing the ark on a golden altar ***, and around him stars fell to earth like fireflies. ###. Historical analysis. Waking the next day, she opened her journal and compiled the truths and theories. Historically, the ark disappears from Jewish texts after the destruction of the first temple in 586 BC. It is never described as being rebuilt or replaced. *** Ethiopian tradition *** is the only *** continuous national claim *** to possess the ark, tied to their royal bloodline and orthodox faith. Some scholars suggest the ark could have been taken during Solomon's era, ***, later, during the 5th-6th century BCE *** by refugees fleeing the Babylonian invasion. Others believe the ark may be a sacred *** relic symbolizing the presence of God ***, rather than the literal artifact of stone and gold. But Salam was more interested in ***, why the story endured ***. Why would generations risk their lives, careers, and faith to protect or discredit this tale? Because the ark to Ethiopia was not just a box, it was ***, proof of divine favor ***, of chosen identity, and of continuity from the biblical world to the African highlands. Number ## legacy and sacred power. On her last evening, Salam knelt before the outer chapel wall. She heard no voices, no thunder, but in the silence she felt something pressing behind the veil of history, something that demanded humility. The ark is not a relic, she wrote in her journal. It is a *** living symbol, ***, and in Aksum, symbols breathe. As she walked away, she passed a group of children singing hymns in Jazi. One little girl looked up at her and said, "Greater than did you find the treasure?" Salam smiled. "Not the one I was looking for, but maybe one that was looking for me." What this chapter teaches, the *** power of tradition *** in preserving identity and history. The *** intertwining of myth and reality *** how stories shape nations. The *** centrality of the ark *** to Ethiopian royal and religious culture. The difference between ** proof and truth ** and why some things are protected, not by science, but by reverence. Chapter 2. The Stone Giants, Secrets of the Obelisks. The morning after her encounter, the chapel of the tablet, Salam awoke to the golden Aksumite sun pouring through her window. Outside, the hills were soft with dew, but her path was set in stone literally. Her next destination, the obelisk field. Here, the monolithic stelae of Aksum stood like petrified sentinels. The tallest among them before it was broken once towered over 33 meters high, weighing over 500 tons. The still-standing obelisks were covered in finely carved false windows and doors, as if imitating high-rise buildings or palatial towers. Why build a house of stone for the dead? She wondered aloud. An old guide named Sege, whose family had lived in Aksum for generations, met her at the field. Because the dead ruled from below, he said, with a crooked smile, and they liked windows with a view. Giants of stone, who carved them? Sege led her through the field of stelae, each stone column uniquely patterned. Some stood proud, others had collapsed, broken by time or earthquake. All were made from a single piece of granite, carved and transported without mortar, wheels, or cranes. No one today can move these, Sege said. But the ancients They were part priest, part engineer, part sorcerer. Salam inspected the carvings. Each story of the obelisk was like a floor in a building with fall doors at the base. They're not just monuments, she mused, they're symbols, gateways. Exactly, he said, to the other world. Historical insight. The obelisks as spiritual. Architecture historians believe the Aksumite obelisk served as funerary markers for the elite, possibly even symbolic houses for the spirits of the dead. The Aksumites believed that a noble soul needed a sacred residence after death. But deeper than that, Salam learned, was the role of astronomy. Some obelisks were aligned with the rising sun at specific solstices. Others cast shadows that marked planting and harvesting seasons. It was as if the Aksumites used the obelisks not just to honor the dead, but to measure time and divine will. One theory suggests that the tallest obelisks were aligned with star constellations, possibly Orion, much like the pyramids of Giza. Could Aksum have been part of a Pan-African spiritual geometry, connecting monuments across the continent? Salam jotted it down. Rumors of a forbidden obelisk. Sege paused beside a sunken ruin. They say one obelisk was buried, he whispered. Too dangerous to stand. Why? Because it bore a curse. Salam raised an eyebrow. A curse or a truth? She asked. He shrugged. Depends who's digging. Local legend tells of an obelisk with inscriptions no one could read, and a carved eye with 7 rays at its top. It was said to predict droughts, wars, and invasions. The last time someone tried to raise it, lightning struck the scaffolding. Some stones are meant to sleep, Sege said grimly. Below the surface, the crypts of kings beneath several of the stelae were discovered multi-chambered tombs. Salam descended into one such crypt, damp with history and mystery. A narrow stairway led to an underground room, stone slabs lining the walls, and a faint scent of incense. King Azana? She asked. Sege shook his head. No, this one was earlier, pre-Christian, still pagan. Some tombs had been looted, others remained sealed, but in one she found a piece of red pottery, etched with 3 symbols she couldn't identify. She took a photo and promised to translate them later. Is it strange, she said, that the more I learn, the more lost I feel? That means you're getting close, he replied. What this chapter teaches: the engineering marvels of the Aksumite stelae and their possible spiritual, astronomical, and political purposes. How architecture was a language of power and divinity in ancient Africa. The link between funerary monuments and celestial worship. The fusion of legend and archaeology, where truth lies beneath the stone. Chapter 3. The tombs beneath. Cities of the dead. The living ruled the kingdom. The dead ruled the earth beneath it. Aksumite proverb. After her journey through the obelisk field, Salam was granted permission by the local archaeological office to enter a rarely opened tomb, the royal catacombs beneath Endemikale. Guided by Dr. Nardo Zalamo, an expert in Aksumite funerary culture, Salam entered the underground world where emperors once slept in golden silence. The air was cold and dry, and each step echoed off the carved basalt walls. They passed stone doorways that led into hidden chambers. Some rooms had sarcophagi, others only ash. This one, Nardo said, belonged to King Caleb. Over there, his son, Gabor Maskell. What happened to their treasures? Salam asked. Taken, some by robbers, some by conquerors, some, we believe, were hidden before the empire's fall. Secret chambers and sealed rooms. There were rumors never confirmed of a network of tombs running beneath Aksum, connected by collapsed tunnels and sealed passageways. One room had a stone wheel, as if it once rotated to reveal a hidden door, but it hadn't moved in centuries. What if the records of the whole empire lie buried down here? Salam asked. They probably do. Nardos replied, but Aksum was a kingdom of secrecy and ceremony. They didn't write everything on papyrus. Much was spoken, passed from priest to prince to prophet. The hidden codex in one chamber. They found a sealed box carved from red stone. Inside was a fragment of parchment, preserved by dry air and luck. The JZ was faded but legible. ... And the light that Menelik bore was placed where the stars cannot reach, and time forgets ... Double quotes. Could it refer to the Ark again, or to something else, perhaps the Golden Codex, a rumored book of spells, genealogy, astronomy, and laws, passed down from the early kings? Nardos smiled as Salam showed her excitement. You're not just researching, she said. You're inheriting what this chapter teaches. Aksumite kings were buried in elaborate subterranean complexes, reflecting Egyptian influence yet distinctively Ethiopian in design. The tombs might hold undiscovered records, relics, or secrets, many still sealed beneath earth and time. Oral tradition, architecture, and burial practices together preserved knowledge in Aksum's secret city of the dead. Chapter 4. The Alphabet of Angels, JZ and the Lost Language of the Kings. The stone paths of Aksum whispered under Selim's sandals as she made her way to the monastery of Gibra, fortress of learning atop a mountain cliff, accessible only by rope. This is where they kept the voices of the past, she said to herself. At the foot of the cliff stood a rope made of plaited leather, swaying in the morning breeze. A smiling monk named Brother Yasu waited above, waiting like a child seeing a long-lost cousin. Climb with faith, not fear, he shouted. She hoisted herself up, breathless but determined. When she reached the top, she was met with chants and the scent of aged parchment. The monastery's library housed hundreds of JZ manuscripts, some over 1,000 years old and translated, unread by modern eyes. Why are they not studied? She asked. Because some were never meant to be read by everyone, Brother Yasu said. JZ is a language of the divine and the royal. Its symbols carry more than words. They carry power, the divine script. What is JZ? JZ is not just a language, it is the liturgical voice of Ethiopian orthodoxy, the script of empire, and the secret code of Aksum's wisdom keepers. It predates Arabic and even some early Latin scripts. Its alphabet is syllabic, combining consonants and vowels in a unique visual rhythm. Every letter has numerical values, allowing it to hide mathematics, astronomy, and prophecy within words. Brother Yasu opened a scroll and pointed to a passage. Read this. Salam sounded it out slowly. Hayden Nebet, Negist, Wayan Bessa, We Haymanot, one empress, the water lion, and the faith. It's a prophecy, he explained, about a future queen who will unite lands with the river and rule with truth. Salam's hands trembled. Could these be remnants of a hidden line of prophecy, still echoing across time? The censored chronicles in a locked chest. Brother Yasu showed her a forbidden codex, wrapped in goatskin. Its pages held a second version of the rise of Menelik I, different from the Kebra Nagast. This version claimed that Menelik returned not only with the Ark, but also with tablets of future knowledge. These tablets, it said, were written in a tongue that only those of the blood could understand. What happened to these tablets? She asked. We believe they were burned or hidden during the Muslim invasions of the 16th century, he said, but some monks say their spirit remains in the alphabet itself. Salam spent 3 nights in Debre Damo studying letter after letter. She began to notice strange things. Certain letters glowed slightly under candlelight, possibly ink mixed with minerals or herbs. One manuscript had rhythmic notations, suggesting that JZ was soon before it was spoken. Others contained hidden acrostics, where the first letter of each line formed a secret phrase. The living language on The fourth morning, Brother Yasu handed Salam a hymn book. "Sing this aloud." She did. The melody was old haunting, and as she sang, a group of monks joined in, harmonizing in perfect unison, as if they'd waited for her voice. Later, Yasu told her, "You opened a passage. Sound unlocks meaning. In our tradition, truth was not kept in books. It was sung into being." What this chapter teaches, Jay-Z is more than a writing system. It's a sacred technology, possibly encoding astronomical and spiritual knowledge. The numerology, phonetics, and structure of Jay-Z hint at a deeper language meant for initiates and royalty. Some Aksumite truths were written to be concealed, hidden, behind sound, song, and symbolism. Oral and liturgical tradition preserved what paper could not. Chapter 5, The Lost Ports, Adulis, and the Vanished Empire. The journey took Salam eastward down from the highlands of Aksum to where the land kissed the Red Sea. Her guide this time was an Eritrean historian named Dr. Hamid Zacharias, who had spent years excavating the sands near Zula, the modern site of ancient Adulis. They called it the Eye of the World. Hamid told her Aksum's open hand stretched to Rome, Byzantium, India, even China. Salam squinted across the dusty landscape where grand stone warehouses and bustling quays once stood. There was now only heat, sand, and the sound of wind. "Where did it all go?" she asked. "That's the question," Hamid replied. "And that's the secret." Adulis, the empire's forgotten mouthpiece in its prime between the 1st and 7th centuries CE. Adulis was a cosmopolitan wonder. Greek merchants strolled beside Aksumite nobles. Indian spices mingled with East African incense. Roman amphorae were exchanged for ivory, frankincense, gold, and live animals. Aksum was Africa's gateway to the world, and Adulis was the golden door. Aksum traded rhino horns to China, giraffes to Byzantium, and obsidian to Arabia, Hamid said, and they wrote about it in Greek, Jay-Z, and Sabaean. Salam stood before the fragmented ruins of an ancient basilica. A broken column bore a faint inscription, Axumis, in parrot over the seas. "We ruled not just by land, but by tide." The mystery of the disappearance. By the 8th century, Adulis had disappeared. No war, no record of destruction, just silence. "It's as if the sea swallowed it whole," Salam whispered. Some theories blame the rise of Islam, which shifted trade routes through Arabia, a sudden volcanic eruption that blocked the bay, or even climatic shifts, making the Red Sea treacherous and unpredictable. But Hamid had another theory. What if it was buried on purpose, hidden archives beneath the sand? In 2023, Hamid's team had uncovered a mosaic floor depicting the god Poseidon holding a lion and a camel, symbols of Aksum's land and sea mastery. Nearby, they found fragments of an Aksumite Greek bilingual inscription referencing something called the Golden Codex of Waters. It spoke of a book, Hamid explained, said to control sea currents. A legend, yes, but remember, to the ancients, navigation was divine magic. They believed Adulis may have held sacred sea maps, knowledge of monsoon patterns, and even maritime prophecies passed down from earlier civilizations like Hunt or Ulfar. Salam leaned down to touch the mosaic. "So, what if Adulis wasn't just a port," she said, "but a temple of tides?" The submerged archive fishermen off the coast of Misawa had told stories for generations of stone blocks visible under the water, visible only at certain tides or after storms. Some had symbols, they said, that glowed blue under moonlight. A local diver led Salam to the reef, with Hamid watching from a boat. She swam down beneath the surface near a shelf of coral and saw them, obsidian black stones, arranged in strange arcs, far too symmetrical to be natural, and carved upon one faint but real was the same. 7 radii she had seen on the rumored cursed obelisk in Aksum. Her heart skipped. Was it a marker, a warning? She surfaced, breathless. Adulis didn't fall, she gasped. It hid itself. What this chapter teaches: Aksum once controlled one of the most vital trade hubs in the ancient world. Through Adulis, the port vanished not due to conquest, but possibly environmental, economic, or intentional concealment. Legends suggest sea-based wisdom, title, calendars, or even mystical seor was kept at Adulis, possibly in sacred books or underwater shrines. Trade myth and sacred geography were fused in Aksumite world building. Chapter 6. The Sun Kings. Astronomers of the Highlands Salam had walked the stones, read the scrolls, and touched the drowned ruins, but something still tugged at her spirit. Aksum didn't just build toward the gods, she whispered. It followed them across the sky. Her next journey led her to the Yeha Plateau, east of Aksum, where the oldest standing structure in Ethiopia still rose like a fossil of starlight. Locals called it the Temple of the Moon, but others believed it was once a sun temple too, built long before Christianity touched Aksum's throne. Her guide this time was a monk-turned-scholar named Abu Solomon, who greeted her barefoot, robe flapping in the wind. The kings watched the sky, he said, and so must we. Yeha, Aksum. Before Aksum, the temple at Yeha, constructed from finely cut sandstone blocks, or no mortar yet, had stood for over 2,500 years. It was likely built by the Sabaean peoples, but later absorbed by Aksum, transformed into a hybrid shrine. Inside, high walls caught the morning sun like a chalice catching wine. Salam noticed a hole in the eastern wall, a tiny slit aligned perfectly with the rising sun on the solstice. It's a sun gate, she murmured. And a calendar, Solomon added. The whole structure is a timekeeper. He showed her a stone basin with 12 indentations, each once used to measure solar shadows at different times of the year. These were no primitive rituals, they were empirical, scientific, sacred. The calendar of the lion, Aksum, had its own calendar system, a blend of ancient Egyptian reckoning and solar moon cycles tied to farming, fasting, and kingship. Each king, Salam learned, was crowned not on a random day but on a solar feast, often during the equinox, when day and night shared equal power. The idea was that balance above meant harmony below. The king was not just chosen, Solomon said, he was aligned. Salam pulled out her notebook, tracing how obelisks pointed to constellations like Orion, or possibly the Southern Cross. Tunes were aligned with lunar risings. Even some Jazz had rhythmic patterns matching star cycles. Sun worship hidden in Christianity. After the rise of Christianity under King Azana, open sun worship was slowly phased out. But Solomon leaned close and told her something bold. They never truly abandoned it, he whispered. They just veiled it. Some early churches like Gibrid Damo and Abrahoe at Speha still faced the eastern light. Their windows formed solar halos, and priests still used sun-based blessings on certain feast days. Salam watched as the monk held a cross between his fingers, casting a shadow that made a perfect circle on the stone. The old gods still walk the hills, he said. They just wear new names. The lost and fate may still lie buried in ruins like Yeha and Halti. Chapter 7. The Hidden Queens. The matriarchs of Aksum. The wines of the northern highlands carried Salam to the village of Beta Samai, where an ancient Aksumite temple-turned-church had recently revealed a woman's name etched in gold on a small, buried plaque. Negist Sabahinsa, keeper of the gates. Negist, Salam repeated. A queen, know her. Guide whispered. A king, in a queen's body. She held power like Azana, like Menelik. But why had Salam never heard of her? Why did history stay so silent about the women of Aksum? She soon learned their power was real, but often hidden in shadows, protected behind mystery, magic, and matriarchal legacy. The queenmakers, mothers of kings in Aksum, the next queen, was not merely a consort. Often, she was the matriarchal anchor of legitimacy. Without her blessing, no prince could ascend. The position of village queen mother was more than ceremonial. The village was often the spiritual guardian of royal bloodlines, the final judge in succession disputes. The oracle consulted before war. Salam found an inscription near Lalibela from the early 6th century that read, "When the son faltered, the mother took the reins." This referred to Queen Safia, the widow of King Aksumite, who ruled as regent for her son Azana during his youth. But many whispered that she continued ruling long after he took the throne. Some say Azana's Christian reforms were her vision, not his. Local elder told Salam she was the fire behind the throne. Priestesses and oracles in a hidden cave monastery in Gundagund, Salam met an old noon named Menon who showed her ancient hymns written in hymns not sung in churches anymore. They spoke of the lion, mothers, priestesses who kept the balance between the earthly throne and the divine. They carried scrolls soaked in saffron, wore robes of indigo and ash, and could read the clouds like script. They came from a time before kings, Menon whispered, when the rivers obeyed women and the mountains listened. These women, called the Betsaba house of Sheba, were believed to be descendants or reincarnations of Makeda, the queen of Sheba herself. Salam found one hen that sang. She did not birth sons. She birthed thunder. The warrior queen, forgotten general of the highlands, one name, returned again and again, in whispers and fragments. Tazkar Manabala queen, said to have led troops against the Bijid during a northern invasion in the 4th century CE. Salam traced a ruined watchtower near Koito where red ochre markings on the stone showed a woman on horseback, surrounded by warriors. A local story said her shield bore the face of a lioness. Her voice made men drop swords. Tazkara's rule may have been brief, brutal, and erased, but traces remained. A lost war ballad preserved by Tigrine Grides. Coins minted without a king's face, only a 7-pointed star believed to represent her crown of wines, and a tomb with the inscription, "She who walked with kings and never bowed." The threads of diplomacy. Women also served as diplomatic envoys, especially when neo-kings were at war. One scroll in Gundagund told of Princess Azenet, who traveled to Byzantium in the 5th century with gifts of ivory and gold and returned with knowledge of medicine, astronomy, and Christianity's Eastern creeds. She built the school at Beta Samadi Salam read and trained the sons of kings and daughters of stars. Azenet was never crowned, but her influence built generations of thinkers and priests. The curse of silence. Why then were these women so forgotten? The monk Menon explained. After the coming of foreign scribes and changing patriarchies, the songs of women were written in water. Some male chroniclers erased their names, others merged their stories into legends or attributed their deeds to men. Aksumite Christianity, though powerful, became increasingly male-centered, leaving the female architects of the empire veiled in shadow. But Salam believed the veil was lifting if their names were lost. She wrote in her journal, "Then we must become the ink." What this chapter teaches, Aksumite queens were not passive. They were kingmakers, regents, diplomats, and warriors. Spiritual power was often female. Priestesses, oracles, and prophetesses played crucial roles in the empire's mystical and political life. Systemic shifts over centuries led to the erasure or concealment of female power in later chronicles. Their legacy persists in folk songs, ruins, scrolls, and oral memory waiting to be rediscovered. Chapter 8. The Obelisk, Code, Stone Giants, and Their Secrets. The day Salam returned to Aksum proper, the sun cast long shadows across the steely field, a vast plain of towering granite monoliths, some rising over 100 feet tall, others shattered like fallen titans. Her breath caught at the sight of the great obelisk of Aksum, once looted by Mussolini's army and returned decades later. Its perfect symmetry, intricate carvings, and haunting silence had given it many names: the stone ladder of the afterlife, the calendar of the gods, the axis of Azena. But one name haunted Salam the most: the code that cannot die. The obelisks, more than monuments, most historians say these giant stelae are merely grave marker symbols of royal tombs beneath. But the precision, mathematics, and cosmic alignments whisper otherwise. Dr. Menker Jebru, a mathematician turned archaeologist, guided Salam through the field. "What if I told you they're not just tombstones?" he asked. "What if they're data towers like ancient hard drives carved in stone?" Salam's brow lifted. He pointed to the carvings, multiple levels marked by false windows and doors, geometric patterns that repeat across different stelae, alignments that match solstice angles and lunar cycles. "They're not symbols of death," he said. "They're instruments of celestial continuity, the memory code together." They entered the shadow of a fallen obelisk, once the tallest in the ancient world. Underneath, they discovered a small, sealed chamber recently opened, containing tablets inscribed with early Proto-Ge'ez characters arranged in a spiral. The pattern matched a sequence known to Ethiopian king poets, a mnemonic device that encoded royal lineages, cosmic calendars, moral lessons, and navigation routes. This was Aksum's version of an archive, Menker said, a mixture of stone, story, and star. Salam ran her fingers across the spiral. It was like touching the neural map of an ancient mind. Messages to the sky. One obelisk stood slightly apart from the others, shorter, older, and marked with strange indentations and patterns resembling star constellations. Menker believed this star stela was aligned with the heliacal rising of Sirius, the zenith passage of the sun, and magnetic north, not true north. Some believe it was a kind of astrological clock tuned to the rhythm of the heavens, he said. There were even theories among French historians that the obelisks could resonate sound at specific frequencies, acting like vibrational markers or ritual tuning forks. Salam listened, pressing her ear to the granite. It hummed faintly under her palm, either a trick of the wind or the slow heartbeat of stone. The curse of the obelisk's legend speaks of a forbidden stela now lost, known as the Black Finger. It was said to be made of volcanic glass and used only once per generation, during the rite of the dark moon. It held no windows, no doors, just an inscription that read, "Let none awaken the seal of the East." Salam asked Menker about it. That obelisk, he said, was destroyed intentionally during the Christianization of Aksum. Some feared it held pagan curses. Others feared it told too much truth. What truth? Salam whispered. That the obelisks were not about death but about guardianship. They kept knowledge, watched the skies, and marked prophetic intervals of change. The legacy of living stone. Modern LiDAR scans revealed something astonishing. The stelae formed a geometric grid radiating from a central point, the presumed tomb of an unknown king. Each obelisk's base was set, not randomly, but according to a mathematical formula, using ratios of 3 to 4 to 5, the same used in Egyptian and Greek construction. Salam realized this isn't a graveyard, it's a library, a clock maybe even a message in a bottle carved for a future that forgot how to read stone. She stood there until dusk, watching the shadows shift across the carvings. The stele had no mouths, but they spoke. The wind translated what this chapter teaches. Aksumite obelisks were not just funerary markers, but multi-functional structures, calendars, records, and cosmological monuments. Their carvings and positions may encode royal succession, star charts, and sacred rituals. Advanced knowledge of geometry, astronomy, and stone acoustics was embedded in their design. One lost obelisk, the Black Finger, may have contained esoteric or forbidden knowledge, now vanished from public memory. Chapter 9. The Blood of Sheba, Makeda's hidden legacy in the mist-veiled region of Lake Tana, where the Buna begins its ancient journey. Salam wandered through hidden monasteries and islands, whispered to be older than time. She had come in search of Makeda, the Queen of Sheba, known through Ethiopian legend, the Bible, and the Quran. She was the woman who traveled to Jerusalem, met King Solomon, and bore a son, Menelik I, the founder of the Solomonic dynasty. But Salam wasn't convinced this was the entire story. What if Makeda wasn't just a visitor to Solomon's kingdom? She wrote in her journal, what if she was a queen of her own sun-wrapped world, older, wiser, and the source of it all, a queen beyond the scriptures on a small island called Tana. Kirkos, the monks, preserved a tattered codex older than any church Bible Salam had seen. In it were songs, praises not of Solomon, but of a queen called Maked Setatenya, Makeda the Panther of the South. The hymn spoke of queen born in the highlands, with eyes like obsidian stars, her journey not for a husband, but for a divine key of wisdom, a court of female astronomers, warrior guards, and cloud readers. A solo relic she carried back from Jerusalem, said to be a fragment of light. Solomon gave her more than gold, the monk said. He gave her a name forgotten by men, but not by the land. Salam leaned close to a painting in the chapel. Makeda stood tall, flanked not by Solomon, but by Ethiopian lions, celestial emblems, and a child with one foot in light and the other in shadow. Menelik, she asked. The first, the monk, nodded, but not the only. The line of the moon and the sun. Salam soon uncovered something. Curious folk genealogies that traced back not only to Solomon, but to an older matrilineal dynasty, the house of Nant, a proto-Aksumite kingdom. In this line, queens passed power to daughters as well as sons. Marriage was often strategic, temporary, and ritually sealed by starlight. Makeda herself was said to be the 12th in a line of moon queens, each ruling for one full zodiac cycle. A scroll found in the cliffs of Tigray she carried the sky in her blood, and from her womb both sun and moon descended. Not Solomon made her queen, she was queen when the stars still sang. The South Arabian connection. Intrigue. Salam sailed to Adulis, Aksum's ancient port city, and combed through the sun-bleached ruins. There, she met Dr. Samuel Kazra, a Sabaean scholar who shared a controversial idea. Makeda was not a single woman, she said. She was a title, like Pharaoh or Caesar. In Yemen, records spoke of Malikat Saba, a succession of queens in the kingdom of Saba. Some bore the names Yedi, Shamsi, Karbati, and one named Makeda. What if the queen of Sheba was both here and there? Sami asked. A queen of trade, shadow, and sun, ruling across the sea, bound by incense and stars. Salam stood silent. Could Makeda have ruled both Ethiopia and Arabia, Trans-Red Sea Empire? Could her legacy be entombed not in one body, but in a myth that swallowed many women whole? Sacred lakes and the hidden daughter back at Lake Tana. Salam found a local story, rarely told aloud. It spoke not of Menelik, but of a daughter named Amenet, born in secret and raised among priestesses in the forest monastery of Emphras. She was said to have inherited Makeda's voice and could con stones with chat. Some say she never ruled but became the veiled prophetess of the blue. Now, leaving only riddles and prophecies etched in stone, Salam found one. When stone breaks and water speaks, the lion will return, not as king but as queen. What the Kebra Negist hides the Kebra Negist, the glory of the kings, Ethiopia's national epic. But Salam noticed something strange. Makeda's section is far shorter than Solomon's or Menelik's, and some scholars believe the original version now lost contained a full account of Makeda's own dreams and omens, a prophecy of a returning female ruler born under the twin stars, forbidden verses about her, knowledge of the Ark of the Covenant, and a shadow box of prophecy buried beneath her throne. What this chapter teaches: the Queen of Sheba was likely more than a figure of romance. She may have been a dynastic title, part of a Pan-African-Arabian matriarchy. Her legacy lives in both myth and genealogy, including unrecognized female descendants like Amenet. The connection between Ethiopia and South Arabia is deeper than trade. It may be cultural, royal, and spiritual. The Kebra Negist, revered, may omit, distort, or veil parts of Makeda's true story. Chapter 10. The Ark and the Cipher, Aksum's final secret. It was nearing dusk when Salam stood before the gates of the Church of Our Lady Mary of Zion, the holiest site in Ethiopia, and perhaps, some whispered, the most guarded place in the world. An elderly monk clad in white stood watch over a small chapel beside the main cathedral. Inside that chapel, legend says, lies the Ark of the Covenant, the same one Moses carried through the desert, the same that thundered atop Mount Sinai, the same that was lost to the world, found again in Aksum. But Salam wasn't after just the artifact. She wanted the truth behind the legend. What if the Ark is not a weapon, not a box, she thought, but a language, a cipher, a spiritual algorithm? The guardian who never leaves. Salam requested an audience with the guardian monk, the one man in all Ethiopia who is allowed to see the Ark. He never leaves the chapel, never speaks of what he sees. She was granted only a brief moment near him. His voice, frail yet fierce, spoke through a curtain. Why do you seek the Ark, daughter of dusk? To understand, Salam answered, not to possess. Then listen, not with your ears, he replied, but with your silence. And then he told her story, one not written in the Kebra Negist, not known to the kings of old, but passed from guardian to guardian like a flame, passed hand to hand. The Ark that was split when Menelik I returned from Jerusalem. He did not bring the whole Ark, the guardian said. He brought a part, the visible, material part, the sacred box, but the second part, the inner Ark, remained hidden, not in Jerusalem, not in Ethiopia, but in minds, chants, and symbols encoded through time. It was never meant to be a weapon, the monk whispered. It was a frequency, a way of harmonizing the soul with the divine order, the sacred geometry of the Ark. Later, Salam met with an engineer mystic named Hiawat in the Aksum countryside. Hiawat had long studied Ark iconography and had reconstructed its dimensions in golden ratios. The box described in scripture is not arbitrary, she said. It's mathematically perfect, a vessel of resonant proportion. According to Hiawat, the Ark's inner chamber could generate low frequency harmonics. Its poles and handles were made of electrum and cedar, perfect for conducting both electricity and sound. The two cherubim facing each other formed an aerial antenna capable of creating standing wave patterns in enclosed sanctuaries. In the Temple of Solomon, Hiawat said, it may have functioned like a tuning fork between man and God. The cipher of the chant. Salam returned to the ancient Debre Damo monastery, where she heard liturgical chants, unlike any she'd known. The rhythm was strange, neither jazzy nor amharic, but older, flowing in phases, pulses, and mathematical syllables. One monk said they were our codes, a sonic encryption, passed down since the time of the Ark's arrival. Each phrase, he said, contains 72 permutations of the divine name. To chant them correctly aligns your soul with the architecture of the cosmos. Salam was stand. What if the Ark is not just a relic, but a living system, a spiritual operating program encoded in vibration, geometry, and silence? A hole beneath the chapel. One night, guided by a sympathetic priest, Salam was led to a sealed crypt beneath the chapel. There, she saw a wall of inscriptions, ancient, Jz Hebrew, and Sabaean, all converging. In the center was a symbol she had seen only once before on the back of the spiral tablet. In the steely field, it was the eye of the flame, a symbol said to activate only when all 10 secrets of Aksum are understood in harmony. As Salam placed her hand near the engraving, a soft hum filled the chamber. It was not magic, it was memory, stone memory, the final realization. In the silence, Salam heard her ancestors not speaking, but resonating. The Ark was never just a vessel, nor a weapon, nor a relic. It was spiritual compass, a mirror of the inner temple, a harmonic code passed in sound, shape, blood, and breath. And the reason it was brought to Aksum, because Aksum, with its obelisks, star temples, queens of moonlight, and lion-blooded sages, was one of the few places left on earth that could understand it. The final secret of the Aksumite Kingdom is this: they did not steal power, they stewarded wisdom until the world was ready to remember. And Salam, she left Aksum with no artifact, no relic, only a story, and in that story a map for those still listening. What this chapter teaches: the Ark of the Covenant may have been a dual-layered technology, one physical, one spiritual. Aksum was chosen as its keeper due to its ancient understanding of resonance, vibration, and sacred architecture. The Ark functions as a cipher decoded not through conquest, but through inner alignment and sacred sound. The guardian monks preserved this living tradition, passed down in chants, not in weapons. Final reflection. Salam's journey revealed 10 great secrets of the Aksumite Kingdom, but they were not secrets meant to be hidden, only secrets waiting for the right kind of ears. The Aksumites never saw wisdom as something to own. They saw it as something to tune to. And now, dear reader, perhaps you too have started to hear the hum of the stone, the whisper of the obelisks, and the golden rhythm in your own bloodline.